What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Reacts as the Korean team are on their way to Thailand. But just before we get into that, let's go and have a look at how X has been reacting to the last 24 hours. And obviously, it was a 1-1 draw yesterday out in Thailand. And this HM Sonny is reacting to Heung-min Son's thighs. Look at those thighs.
Crazy thighs. It's how he gets such power in his shots. You don't get that by accident. That's what Sonny gives you.
What beautiful thighs.
He's showing them off to the world. I'm sure a lot of Koreans went crazy over that moment.
Well, you didn't go crazy?
I'm not saying me. I didn't say I didn't. I'm just saying I'm sure a lot of people did.
Next up is from the PSG report. I mean, just look at this Kangin Lee pass.
Yeah, showing that they got the link up. They should have scored that moment as well. And Son as well laid that on a plate for one of the players in the centre, which missed, unfortunately. But showing the potential of that Kangin Lee Sonny link up, we know that they got.
And here we are. Joel Kim has got the footage of the Korean team making their way to Thailand for the second game in the qualification against Thailand. The Korean national team recently departed from Incheon Airport for Thailand. High-profile players such as Heung-min Son and Kangin Lee were positioned at the back to manage fan reception. They made sure to collect gifts and cards on the way. To Thailand we go.
Aura, as some people would say. What aura this squad gives. Maybe a win would have helped with that, but
apparently we're not allowed to use aura because Arsenal fans use it
not
too
allowed.
much.
I see, it's their word, is it?
Yeah.
Sonny as well. Big up to Sonny. He's not wearing a mask. Big up to him. Appreciate that.
You just need to see that beautiful face.
Exactly. You can't hide Sonny's face. No, should be a criminal offence to force Sonny to wear a mask.
Absolutely. Joel Kim as well. KNT Football says, has got some quotes from Son here, and it says, "It's a promise to football fans, wanting to keep that promise and hoping I can grow into a stronger person so I don't have such weak thoughts again." And this is of Heung-min Son was thinking about retiring from the national team after the Asia Cup, and the quote in detail says, "Indeed, it's a very, very difficult question. But as I said at the time, the position in the national team, I've never once taken it for granted. I've always been grateful and honoured. And once again, if it were just based on my own personal feelings, I might have stopped. Seriously, I was honestly at that point, and I asked many questions and shared a lot of conversations with many players who have retired, seeking a lot of advice, and they gave me real, honest thoughts. Those things have definitely been a lot of help to me because I'm still young, and I think it's rare for a football player to receive such as much love as I do, both as a football player and as a person, never taking it for granted, really thinking about those people first. I thought about those people the most, and in such a difficult situation, my colleagues all wondering whether I deserved it. I made a choice, and that was not easy in making this choice. Receiving a lot of support from many fans, many family members, and people around me was what was really strengthening me. And I said at the time, it's a promise to football fans, wanting to keep that promise, and I hope I can grow into a stronger person so I don't have such a weak thoughts again. And really, as long as my body allows and the Korean national team needs me, as Min Jae said, I'll do my best. I have Park Ji-sung and Seung Young. I have many seniors, and I've talked a lot to the teachers. Do Ri really are also. I asked many questions to my seniors in life outside of football. It seems I asked a lot, and also asked my father, and sought a lot of advice from people who are really sincerely, really helpful to me. And through this platform, to those who gave me sincere advice, I sincerely thank you." So he was really giving thought about retiring from the national team, and I think that would have left the national team in a really bad way, to be fair.
Definitely, and maybe that was the reason he decided against it in the end. It must have really hurt being in the Asia Cup, knowing at 31, obviously he's not that close to retiring yet, considering the condition he's in. But obviously, you know, your career doesn't last forever. We know that, and it's a short career, football players, and sometimes when you get to that age, especially if you keep kind of falling at the last hurdle with the national team, like he has done a couple times in South Korea now. It probably gets to you psychologically. Is it ever going to happen? Am I better off just focusing on club level, maximising at the rather than giving everything for my national team? When let's be honest, the standard of the national team is not quite his level, and it must be very frustrating. And it's a lot of energy. He has to perform beyond himself. Really exert. Not just 100%, needs to do 120% to get a chance of glory. And I can understand those thoughts. You got to remember, how many times did Messi retire from the national team? Like twice, or and that was after some close shaves. I think losing in the Copa America a couple of times, and he ended up retiring, but ended up coming back because he felt that sense of responsibility to the national team. What happened? They went and won 2 international tournaments after he came back, and maybe those thoughts are in a weird way. Having those thoughts spurred him on and got him over the line when it really mattered, and having that pain, having that experience of getting so close. And maybe Sonny can use that as inspiration. I'm glad he's not retiring for the international team. Obviously for Tottenham it'll be better if he can just focus on Tottenham, but I think for him, if he can end his career with a trophy for the national team, whether it be an Asia Cup or whatever it be, would be an unbelievable achievement. That's something that that will stay with him forever, not just personal, but as a nation. You can't replace those things, you can't buy those things. So I think he's probably made the right decision. But I feel for him having those thoughts of what must have been a really difficult time.
Yeah, the kind of way I think of it, and maybe with Heung-min Son trying to get into his mind, I don't think it's maybe because of the near misses that he has had over the last 5 years or however long it's been. I feel it's maybe the way that the national team has been run, with Klinsmann being in charge, with the way Chung is running it at the moment. Nothing seems to be getting better. And I feel like he just feels that sense of responsibility to the people of Korea, to his teammates as well. But I feel like maybe he was just not falling out of love is the wrong word, but maybe he was looking to potentially retire and maybe taking out that frustration that maybe the owners and the people that are running the KFA, as opposed to maybe the near misses.
Yeah, maybe that's a fair point. And maybe that was also in his mind when he thought, is this ever going to change, kind of thing. Maybe he couldn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. But now there is a period of change for South Korea football, hopefully. With hopefully they employ a new manager and they start to make some changes. And look, they got quality in that squad. They're as good as anyone in when it comes to the Asia division in terms of the quality.
That's what it would have hurt even more, losing in the Asia Cup the way they did.
To Jordan, that would have really hurt. So, look, I understand his feelings and I understand maybe the thought of it, but hopefully he can spearhead Korea into a new kind of era.
I have no doubt he will do that. No doubt whatsoever. Next up, you're talking about, you're talking about a generation of change, or the year of change for South Korea. But look at this, Joel Kim, absolutely shocking footage coming out as KFA thugs seizing anti-Chung banner. Shocking footage shows that a fan waving a banner saying Chung Mong Kyu get out, and a group of KFA thugs sneaking up to the banner to violently seize it away, whilst the stadium workers idly stand by. They run out of the stadium, chased by the owner of the banner. What is going on here? Deleting comments on social media is one thing, but physically and forcibly divesting people of their right to protest and express themselves in person is entirely another matter completely. Utterly outrageous. I mean, just look at those scenes.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out. So is it people in suits taking it?
Yeah.
That is horrible. And look, I get the the temptation from the KFA to want to clamp down on any people speaking out about them, but it's horrible. You can't take people's signs down. I mean, what are they thinking? And the fact that he's been caught on camera as well. What does the KFA more damage? That sign or people doing that? And I would argue when you make a bigger thing of it, then it's going to get even more attention. It's not going to take the spotlight on you. It's going to put it off you. Sorry, it's going to put the spotlight even more on you when you try and silence people. I think it also seems very immature. You know what I mean? The best course of action is not to silence people who are criticizing you. Is to change the way of operating and listen and understand why they're criticizing you, instead of believing I'm right, you're wrong, and if you try and tell me I'm wrong, I'm going to silence you. That's not productive in any sort of way.
Sounds more like a dictatorship.
Exactly.
More than anything.
That's how they're acting, unfortunately, and that is disgusting. That's the level they resorted to, and I hope this gets amplified as much as possible, because that's completely unacceptable.
And you know what? If Chung really thought he was going about things in the right way, he wouldn't be doing this. He would ignore this completely. Like, clearly he knows something's going wrong here, and he's completely embarrassed about how things are going. And maybe he's not embarrassed at all. Maybe he's just completely brazen about it and just being like, look, yeah, I'm not on the right path, but I don't care, and you guys can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and I don't. He thinks that people are going to change their mind if they rip the sign down. I mean, it's ridiculous.
They're going to enforce their opinion. It's going to enforce it. Korean football news says Song Heung-min revealed that he actually considered retiring from international football after the Asia Cup. We just covered that. And Sungmo is reacting to those videos, those scenes that we saw at the game. And he says, serious question. In your countries, UK, USA, all around the world, if a fan protests against their FA chairman with a flag, could stadium guards forcibly stop it and take the flag away from its owner? I'm so ashamed of what's happening in Korea at the moment. I mean, we've seen it at Spurs, with Levy out banners and stuff like that. You don't really see people forcibly trying to take that off fans, do you?
No, they're allowed to stand. Obviously, when it gets to, there are some political flags that the club do get involved in.
That's a different story.
But yeah, it's very, very different. When it comes to protesting against people in the club don't forcibly take it down. They let people protest. People have the right to protest and voice their opinion. They paid the price for the ticket, and they got the right to give their opinion, especially if they believe that people in positions of decision making and power are not doing the job required, and just silencing them because, I don't know, for whatever reason, is completely unacceptable. And I feel for the Korean fans who wanting to do that, because it seems as though they're being targeted at this point.
Yeah. Trey Talk says, despite what people on this app will tell you, Kim Min-jae is a world-class centre-back and should be undisputed starter for club and country. I still can't believe Eric Dyer is starting over him right now. The eye test aside, look at the per 90 stats. And just look at these stats when you compare Eric Dyer to Kim Min-jae. You tell me which one's starting.
What I would say is defensive stats sometimes are hard to judge by, because just because someone has made more of something doesn't mean they're playing better or doing better. But I think the key one is right at the bottom: goals conceded 1.3 to 1.7. So they concede more goals when Dyer's playing than Kim Min-jae. That's pretty crucial. Pass accuracy, if you're looking at on the ball ability, Kim Min-jae seems to have better passing ability as well. And look, Dyer's yet to keep a clean sheet. Look at that. So I don't know what he's doing to be keeping his place over Kim Min-jae, but for me it's pretty ridiculous.
Yep. And Joel Kim says there's a FIFA rankings update after the match yesterday. Korea dropped down a notch from 22nd to 23rd in the world, while Thailand go up 2 spots from 101 to 99. So Thailand have broken the top 100. A resurgent Thailand breaks into the top 100s for the first time since 2005. Big game Tuesday. Maybe Thailand will drop back out of it.
Yeah, after a defeat to Korea, hopefully. Korea doing quite well in the rankings, 23rd. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, 23rd in the world. I wonder if they're the top Asian team, or maybe Japan ahead of them. I wonder, but we'll see. Next up, Joel Kim says, Inter Milan interested in Kim Min-jae. Inter Milan is keenly monitoring Kim's status at Bayern with intentions to recruit him, and amid Acerbi's looming suspension, according to sources. I'm not sure what that suspension's about, but Kim Min-jae will be a great signing for Inter Milan. If he must feel so disrespected right now, when a guy who couldn't even get close to the Tottenham team when we had all our centre-backs injured, and he's come into Bayern, and now Kim Min-jae just sitting on the bench.
Yeah, I get that, but you got to remember Tuchel's leaving at the end of the season. There's going to be a lot of change. There'll be a new manager. So I do think Kim Min-jae is going to wait to assess his options. I don't think that decision is going to be made anytime soon. But if they are interested in selling him, he would fit right in Inter, in that back three system under Simone Inzaghi, who's doing a fantastic job there.
Who plays in the middle?
Signing. I think Acerbi usually.
So who plays on the right?
They got Acerbi. They got
Bastoni's on the left.
De Vrij, I think, still.
De Vrij still playing, is he? So, I mean, you could have had Kim Min-jae and Bastoni at Spurs a couple of years back.
I think Pavard they have.
Oh, Pavard.
We got Pavard.
But yeah, that'd be an unbelievable back three. Kim Min-jae, Pavard and Bastoni.
I agree.
Joel Kim saying more footage from the protests yesterday. Apparently there was a whole horde of bodyguards that were confiscating banners and even getting physical with many of the fan base, wrestling with some of them and trying to obstruct banners. Historic and unprecedented clashes between fans and the Chungmung-kyu led KFA. It was just madness. It's just madness.
What are they trying to achieve here? All they're doing is bringing more attention to the situation. That's all they're doing. If people just were allowed to have their banners, yeah, there'll be a story here and there about a few banners, and then people would move on. But the fact they tried to silence them and physically obtain these banners and stop these protests, all it is doing is the opposite effect of what they're trying to do. So not only is it a terrible thing to do, but it's completely ineffective as well. So it's really boggles the mind why they're going in this direction.
Yeah. And last but not least, there's been a few comments on Facebook, I think it is, from Thailand player who wears number 13 called Tai Jerosak. And he was talking about Heung-min Son after the game on social media. And there's a little clip of them, maybe having a bit of a coming together. It actually looks like that he's hugging Heung-min Son. And he said after the game on social media, when Son pushed me, I was like, damn. What if I just hug you?
That's one way of stopping Son, killing him with matching his kindness. Maybe that's a way, because Son usually kills the opposition with kindness. But maybe that's one way of stopping him. Obviously, they did get the draw in the end, but that's a funny little moment.
Yeah, it is, and it'll be great to see all eyes on them too next week on Tuesday when the teams face each other again. But that is how the Korean Twitter has been reacting over the past 24 hours. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time.